welcome to another Reaction Monday. And we are finally here. I have already seen on YouTube about 1 million reactions to the new Dream Theater song that has just released in the last week. The single that is starting off this new, I should say refurbished Dream Theater with Mike Portnoy joining the band once again. I have been a fan of Dream Theater since 1994 when the Awake album first came out. I have seen Dream Theater about 16 times live in concert over the years. I have been through all the releases since then. I have done reactions to the last album when Distance Over Time came out. I think they dropped 3 singles. And I'm a little interested because they go on tour here in about a week and a half. And they're only dropping 1 single from this album, whereas the last album they had 3 singles, I think, that they dropped at different times before the tour actually started. So this will be very interesting to see if they are gonna drop another one, because some of these people that are on this tour, like me, I don't think they come to Cleveland. I'm in Ohio, obviously, until somewhere in the late winter, February, March area, maybe even spring. I haven't looked exactly at the dates, and I don't know if these people are just going to have to wait and they just get 1 song, or maybe they'll drop them here and there. They haven't alluded to that, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens with that. But I have been a longtime fan. I tend to have obviously my likes and dislikes like everybody else does. I did my reactions to Distance Over Time, as I said. I will put a card up here in the corner for you to go check those out if you haven't seen those before, or you're interested in any other Dream Theater reactions. As well, before we get into this reaction, over here you can see we have live streams every Saturday and Monday at this point. We used to do them 4 times a week, but I have a regular job and I just don't want to have all that time to do working 4 days a week at night as well as during the day on a regular job. So we are down to Saturdays typically and Monday nights. And we have people who are subscribers that submit songs and submit sets. So to do that, if you're trying to figure out, or you ever want to submit a song or a set for me to react to and for the channel to give their ideas and their tastes on, if you watch the intro video to my channel on the main page, that'll tell you step by step on how to follow the steps that are over here. And I would love to hear what kind of songs. We're open to whatever people submit for a song reaction or even a set reaction. But it tends to be more progressive rock, heavy kind of metal kind of stuff is kind of what the channel does most of the time. But we do all sorts of things. We've had K-pop on here before. We've had a bunch of stuff. So if you're interested, this will be my reaction to Parasomnia. And I have to say, and I said this in the live stream this past Saturday, as a longtime Dream Theater fan, I'm just going to make this quick before we get into the song, because I know nobody likes to ramble or hear somebody ramble. I'm a little nervous about this because, number one, there's a few things that make me a little nervous. They're all older. They've all put all their stuff out over the years, and it's great that Mike Portnoy has come back. I'm sure it's rejuvenated some of their writing and stuff like that. But the thing that makes me a little nervous is step number 1. When he came back, they basically finished the album, the new album, in like a month, it seemed like. It seemed like they wrote it. Now, I know Train of Thought was written in like 3 weeks and produced and done. And maybe that's what happened here, but I'm a little nervous that when he came back, it just was like, I'm nervous that it's going to be kind of just the same old stuff, because they just came in, wrote their stuff. It didn't seem like they put a ton of time, like, let's say, for Metropolis 2, Scenes from a Memory, which is the greatest album by all Dream Theater standards for most people. They seemed like they put a lot of thought into that, and they took a long time to produce that, at least a year, I believe. And this one was just like, he comes back after however so many years, and then they just kind of write this album within a month or 2, and it's done, and it's like, whoa, like that seemed pretty fast. So my expectations are it's probably going to sound very similar to every other thing I might be saying. Number 2, I've always said one thing that I think makes Dream Theater stand out from all the other bands and why they've been my favorite band over the years is that a lot of bands, besides the technical, whatever music ability and their compositions that they write, I would say one of the major flaws with specifically this genre of music is that lyrics tend to suck, or they're just very out there. You don't know what they're talking about. It's very philosophical or fantasy like driven lyrics where you're like, okay, I don't really know what that means. And that's pretty much only what the writer knows. Whereas Dream Theater songs have several, I'd say over 60% or 50 to 60% of their songs have very good lyrics, great storytelling, really interesting introspective stuff with this 12-step things that Mike has done. There's just a lot of good lyrical content, and I personally don't care about lyrical content. To me, it's the cherry on top. I care first and foremost about the musical composition and how good the song is. And then lyrics, if they're great, that's great. But Dream Theater is wonderful at that, typically, where most bands are not. And that's in pop, that's in all genres, not just in progressive rock. When I looked at the titles, the track titles for this album, it makes me a little nervous for this album because Parasomnia and just a lot of the titles seemed very like fantasy-like and not much like a story. And I'm hope that I'm proven wrong. I'm open to be proven wrong. But when I just looked at the titles, I was like, it's going to be like this weird fantasy-driven kind of dark eternal night kind of thing. So that gives me 2-3 reasons to make me a little concerned about this new album, that we're just going to get the same old stuff from Dream Theater that we've had for the past. And I would say, I've said this on the other reactions to Dream Theater songs, they used to write from Images and Words, Awake, that kind of stuff. I feel like 9 out of 10 songs on the album were just awesome. Grade A songs, 9 out of 10. But as the albums went on and on, I'd say after 6 Degrees, after Train of Thought, you would get like 6 out of 9 songs that were great. And then as the albums kept going, you'd get like 4 out of 10 songs or 11 songs that are great. All the way up till Distance Over Time, I felt like there was like 3 good songs on the album out of the 10. And it just seems like it's become that kind of thing. I'm wondering if that's what we're going to get on this album. That's what I'm kind of anticipating. However, I'm not applying that to this song reaction first, because usually when bands, including Dream Theater, drop a single, it's not meant to be like their best song on the album. It's kind of like a taster or a teaser, and it tends to be more radio friendly, more straightforward, and not like the greatest thing that they're going to write. So I'm going into this song not expecting it to be like the best song on the album, but we'll see. Dream Theater fans, I haven't listened to it, but I've seen comments, and it seems like, and I only care about what Dream Theater fans say, because outside you can't really trust it, but Dream Theater fans, I feel like there's like a mix, but I do feel like a lot of Dream Theater fan comments are saying, this is back to the old Dream Theater. So we're going to find out. So let's get to this and see what Parasomnia is going to bring us. Oh, I'm sorry. I said Parasomnia. It's Night Terror. My bad. Don't write in the comments. I know. I figured it out. Okay, that was like felt like a very Blue Balls kind of feel. I was expecting this grand and it was just kind of like ta-da. Okay, very As I Am sound. Is it even the same chords and key? No, it's a different key. I feel like it's not like, maybe it's the record, it just doesn't sound big, which is unusual for Dream Theater, so it has to be the video that's not downloaded correctly. I'll turn it up. some double time. I'm sure some of the people on my channel will be happy about this part. Nice riff here. Little Mike Portnoyism. Ticket, ticket. Time, love it. Doing a good job of going from the double time to the halftime verse. Okay, very home. Let's see. Break it into halftime. Halftime is life. That good. So they're doing the very Dream Theater, which I love about them. Like good, catchy verse. Chorus, I feel like could be stronger than it is, but cool.
Mind awake, body at rest, drifting through sleep transitions. Borderland state, swimming through waves, century twin condition. Without warning, I fall down the
Little harmony with himself. Good job, James.
flesh is growing, need to climb.
Or is that actually Portnoy singing?
By the sword, on the wheel, twisting in the wind. Pierce the silence with a scream. Why can't I remember anything?
Very Portnoy right there, which, why else wouldn't it be? This has a very astonishing kind of chorus here. Yeah, I mean, this just sounds very astonishing kind of chorus. Actually, the writing too reminds me of. Waiting for the John Petrucci signature solo. Is it right here? I like that keyboard patch. Very Derek Sherinian for me. Yeah, it's a very Derek Sherinian patch that he used a lot. I like it. Okay. Very In the Presence of Enemies right here. And even Dark Eternal Night a little bit. That was being so dark. Back to chaos and motion. So this would be the section where they're going off a little bit, off script, and then they'll come back and have the chorus again, is my guess. Here's our guitar solo. Nice little sweep there. Yeah, very. Chorus should be coming here any second, which I'm gonna guess is gonna go into the outro. There it is. I always said Dream Theater is excellent at outros. See what kind of chord they finish on. Dream Theater always knows how to write the book. Start, transitions, outro. And there we have it. All right, so pretty much what I was expecting. Definitely some very Dream Theater writing, right down the middle. I did see some reactions to the song itself where people was like, meh, mid. And I would say that this song was a little better than mid, but it's exactly what I would expect for a single release. As I said, I'm going into this, I'm not expecting it to be like the best song on the album. It's the single release to get you in. And I think it accomplished that in the same vein as Untethered Angel and that kind of thing. What I do find interesting is I feel like with the title, which was Night Terror, sorry, I said Parasomnia. Parasomnia is the album name, I believe. And Night Terror is the single, so I fixed that. It gave me, like when I hear Night Terror, I'm happy to say that the lyrics sounded to be not fantasy. It just sounded to be like somebody who has night terrors and thinking about what that's like to have troubled sleep and stuff like that. Which to me would then be like a good connection to like a song called Panic Attack, which everyone loves. I think a lot of Dream Theater fans love Panic Attack. But I would say Panic Attack, when you hear that and then you hear the lyrics, the music really matched Panic Attack. Like, the whole point when you're listening to Panic Attack is you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm about to have a panic attack. Dream Theater is also very typically excellent at like matching the music with the lyrics as far as how it would feel. I would say when I see a title called Night Terror, I would expect a lot heavier like a panic attack, because night terrors are fucking night terrors. And I don't feel like the music at all matched Night Terrors. That's the first thing that I thought was like, it doesn't feel like I'm in a night terror. Whereas with Panic Attack, I was like, dude, I feel like I'm having a panic attack. So that was the first thing. Little bit off on that. Again, a lot of it's kind of regurgitated. Now, let me say this about regurgitation. This band has written so much music over so many years that I don't think people really understand how difficult it is to write constant good music and very different music. One of the things that I would say, and I've said this on the channel before, even with the past, I think I've accepted or I've relegated Dream Theater. They are the poster boys of progressive rock that carried Rush's kind of torch to another level, and they were progressive in their time. But since maybe I would say around Metropolis, 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence, Train of Thought, I do feel like Dream Theater has become less progressive, as the term should be, meaning moving music forward and going in different things like other bands are doing. They got their sound, and they are in the last, I would say, decade, maybe 15 years. I feel like Dream Theater's in a regurgitation state where they write good music, but it doesn't really go outside of what they normally do all that much. It's just kind of regurgitating the same stuff. So how, though, after that many years, do you do something like that? I mean, you've seen other bands try to do that. I even think Dream Theater tried to do that with Astonishing, and it just failed miserably, in my opinion. Worst album that they ever wrote. Metallica tried to do, reinvent themselves, and it failed miserably. So it's really difficult, and I don't think people really understand how difficult it is to be that creative all the time. But I've always said I wish that Dream Theater as a whole would go back to their Images and Words days. I wish Petrucci would go back to his more Berkeley sort of jazzy rock influence that like you hear on his DVD, Rock Discipline, if you've ever watched that. Great, excellent DVD. And maybe I'm just an old codger and an old kind of school guy that's just living in the past. That might also be true. But I also feel like they've gotten away from that. And even in his solos, they're less jazzy and jazz rock influenced and more just like, I don't know, just I feel like he moved away from that. And I wish Dream Theater as a whole would go back to that, because I think that's what made them special. And I still am just as excited to listen to the album. But I do think that from this song, it's kind of, which I kind of already knew when going into the song because I didn't have the expectations, kind of confirming that it's probably going to sound a lot like Dream Theater stuff. And I'm sure there's going to be, my guess is, 2 or 3 songs on this album that are just going to be fucking awesome. I did notice that the last one's like 19 minutes. It's really hard to pull off a 19-minute song, but if there's anybody that can do it, Dream Theater, like that's like their bread and butter. I mean, A Change of Seasons to me is the best 15-plus minute song ever written. And they just have a lot of very good long-form songs. So I'm thinking that's going to be pretty good. But I'm just guessing there'll be 2, 3, 4 songs on this album that are just freaking awesome, and then the rest of them are just going to be like meh. Like I said, that's kind of been the MO for the last 15 years. I do feel like the earlier years, every song was like unique and different and like, oh my gosh, this is so pushing the boundaries of things. And they kind of ran out of ideas, I think, and a little afraid to push themselves outside those boundaries, which I totally get. So I know I'm going to get downvoted by other Dream Theater fans for this, who think that they've reached back to their old days, but in this song, they have not reached back to their old days. It's pretty much like they've had on the last 6, 7 albums. So that's my thoughts. I still am looking forward to it and hoping to get a good 2 or 3 songs out of this that I really, really like and will go on playlists for sure. And I hope all of you Dream Theater fans love it, and everybody else, because I do think Dream Theater, regardless of what they put out at this point, they have solidified their place in music history. They definitely should be idolized like Rush is at one point someday, if they ever get that. And that is my thoughts. So this is the Captain Morgan saying, Love it as always, and hope you enjoyed it as well. And hope you join the channel. Peace out.